Hello and welcome to a ZX Spectrum pickup video. Hope you're all keeping well. Got a nice mixed bag for you today. Budget games, compilations, a couple of full price titles. A couple of bits I've been after for a long time. And as per usual, they'll kind of show up around the same time. Which is always a pain in the bloody arse. I even picked up a Spectrum computer. Which is in nice nick. The problem I have with the Spectrum computer, unfortunately, is it's had to be sent away to be recapped. So yeah, I bought this. I thought the box looks in really nice nick. It's not mint or nothing, so it has got a couple of little marks there on the top of the box. But as far as Spectrums go, it looks really nice. Now, the first item I ever bought from eBay 22 years ago was one of these, which took about 3 or 4 weeks to arrive. So this came, I think, with a joystick, an interface, a couple of games, and something else I can't remember. Tape recorder, I think. Or did it? No, there's no tape recorder. So I bought 2 or 3 rubber key Spectrums. A couple of them were loose. But one thing I noticed with them, unfortunately, the membranes have gone on all of them. So they all tune in fine, which is great. But I opened up the actual Spectrum and literally the membrane, it didn't dissolve, but it just broke into bits. So yeah, so that prompted me to send off my machine. So I sent off this, sent off my 48K, sent off my 128K plus, 48K plus, and my 128 plus 2, which is the one I had back in the day. So hopefully they'll come back in one piece. Not they shouldn't do, but do you know what I mean? But it's really nice to finally get hold of a rubber key Spectrum. So I've been meaning to get one for quite some time, just never really got round to doing it because my last one broke, it just didn't turn on anymore. But all my Spectrums work fine except for that one. So when they all come back, I just want to get some new membranes for them. So they've been recapped, remembraned, but I'd like to get hold of a proper new style PSU rather than use the old ones that they come with. Just to protect them, really. You don't see any 6-year-old cars driving around, do you? Which have all their original parts. It's just one of those inevitable things that happens when you collect. Old systems break down. But yeah, certainly prompted me to do that. Now, I've also sent off a recent purchase to be repaired because that was sold as parts, but it's such an obscure machine. I took a gamble in the hope that it could get repaired. Even broken ones go for the amount of money I paid for the one I got, which actually is broken, which is a shame. So hopefully that will get fixed. Now, the lead time for these guys that are doing these repairs and recaps are quite long now because I guess for the same reason as me, many people's machines are dying, or many of these machines need recapping. So I know a couple of you guys to let me know of people to send them to, and I have actually used both of those people that were recommended to me. So thanks again. So hopefully when these machines come back, I can do a video just going through what has been done to them. It'd be quite interesting just to do a little log, if you like, or vlog, what do you call it, I don't know. But yeah, really pleased to have that. Nice condition. It's not an early, I think it was like a revision 3, issue 3. Yeah, so it's not an early one, but yeah, even so, nice to have it. So the games I've picked up then are for these various different subsets that I'm going for, various later subsets. I don't collect anything kind of pre-84 really, 85, 84, which, as you know, there's lots of very rare and very extremely difficult to find items. We complain about the hit squads being bad, but they are nigh on impossible to find. So yeah, so first I'm going to show you a publisher I don't collect for, but I do have 3 items for it in this pickup video. Now the reason I don't collect for it because it's equally as hard as the hit squad, and I don't want that heartache again. So these games I pick up as and when I see them come up for a reasonable price. Whereas having over 350 hit squad games, it's probably, on my part, an act of lunacy. Yeah, so this is the Kicks label. This is Football of the Year, which is a game I had back in the day, like many people did, on the Gremlin label. Yeah, this would be worth like £1. I mean, it's one of those games a bit like, I don't know, Rambo or something on the hit squad. It's very common. But yeah, I remember this game. I had fond memories of it. It's almost like a board game. It's quite strange. You pick your team, pick your national team, with the aspiration is to be in the national team. You have some money, you buy gold cards, you buy player cards. The gold cards give you the opportunity to score goals. Then it goes to kind of like an arcade section, which you then score goals or not. And obviously the more goals you score, the more money you get, and the more you progress in your career. But it's a very basic game, really, when you look at it like that. But I enjoyed it because it's simple. I actually quite enjoyed that game. But yeah, give it a go. I played the sequel. The sequel was a bit more in depth, but it was also the last game I ever bought for my Sinclair Spectrum, back in 1989. Now the next one is from a publisher that I'm struggling to collect for. Not only are the games quite poor generally, not as poor as some publishers, but they are genuinely hard to get, probably because they were poor. And that is the Zeppelin label. This game is called Bionic Commando. No, it's not, Paul. It's called Bionic Ninja for the 100 millionth time. But yeah, it's a platformer of sorts. I played it. I didn't like it. You're literally scrolling along. You kick and punch. I've got no idea how you jump, or indeed if you climb on something. I don't know. So I got as far as I could go to the right of the screen, and then stopped. But again, released in '89, so probably halfway through Zeppelin's life. But Zeppelin, there's about 17 games I have left to get. I missed out on another 2 when I bought this one, so I forgot all about them. None of them are overly expensive to find, that I've noticed. There are a few compilations like other subsets to pick up, which are quite difficult to get. But yeah, so yeah, about 17 games I think I've got left to go. So they released obviously the Impulse label. I think I got 3 of the 4. Cognito, which is I think it's either Kenny Dalglish or Graham Souness. I can't remember which one it was. There's the Zeppelin Premier, which is just the 1 game. But yeah, why did they do it? Why did they release so many labels? I don't know. There we go. So that's that one. Now next up, speaking of, this is the king of the subsets. This is like a label that had so many friggin' subsets, so many design changes. It was unbelievable. Why they done it, I don't know. Must have got friggin' bored. Impossible Mission, Ricochet. Now Ricochet is one of those labels that doesn't change too much, luckily. But even the subsets themselves change dramatically in some cases. One of those games that I've enjoyed playing more and more the more I play it. Platformer, classic platformer, isn't it? A bit puzzly as well, going up to computer terminals or any other object, examining them, which I think that little mechanic inspired a lot of games like Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Even Short Circuit and stuff have got bits like that. We're just exploring, really. Deactivating the robots, doing stuff like deactivating whatever security equipment they got so you can progress in the game. Yeah, I can get a little bit further each time. I just struggle with the somersaults. Just like in real life, really. I can't do them. But yeah, that was a nice cheap game. So Bionic Commando is probably a couple of quid. Impossible Mission was a couple of quid. But Ultima released a load of games under the Ricochet label, like Alien 8 and Jetpack. Jet Set Willy was released under that label. Manic Miner. So I think Ricochet contains some of the best re-release games under the Mastertronic label. Another Mastertronic linked label is Racket, Hewson. Now Hewson also released games under the Players label. But I do like the livery for Racket, even though even this changed twice. Such a short space of time as well. Pirate Curse is not a game I'm familiar with. It's one of those horrible isometric games. I left the compound and roamed around the outside of it for about 5 minutes, not knowing how to get back into the compound. Luckily, I got used to the controls quite quickly. But yeah, didn't know what to do. So it's not a game I've ever played before, to be fair. So yeah, if you played this before, if it's any good, let me know. I might give it another go. But for my first impressions, it was a bit boring. Yes, Pirate Curse. Now that one was about £5, I want to say. Some Racket games I've never seen before. Some like Iridium, again I would like that. It's not an uncommon game, but I've just got to get around to buying it. But there are some that I've never heard of before, so that's probably quite an interesting little subset. Sticking with Mastertronic, we've got a game by MAD. Now MAD is again quite an easy subset to go for, with the exception of the 3 128K specific David Jones games, which are from the Magic Knight Not a trilogy, is it? 'Cause there's 4 of them. This is indeed the 4th one, called Stormbringer. Bigger sprites in this one than previous 2 incarnations. In fact, the Knight guy seems to get bigger every time he puts a suit of armour on. The first game in Finders Keepers, he's tiny. And this one, yeah, is quite big. But yeah, so what makes this subset difficult, a bit more difficult, is the fact these games come out in the 128K plus 2 versions only as well. So you've got the 48K version, but if you look at it, at the top, 128K, enhanced Spectrum 128K version, there's 3 of them, which makes it a little bit more difficult. A bit more costly because these games go for about between 10 and 20 pounds. I think this one cost me 7 from an online store. But yeah, not familiar with this one. It's one of those games, again, you pick up items just to go about your business and get lost, like I did many times. It's quite frustrating having to go into every single screen and try and use every single item to move forward, really. Nice to have it though. So that's all 3 of those now in the collection, so MAD shouldn't be a million miles away now. They're some of the easiest sets, to be fair. You've got other sets that are quite difficult to get within the Mastertronic range. 1 or 2 of them are bloody impossible. Next up, we've got this really nice... I like this case, actually. I never knew much about these games until Daryl once mentioned it in one of his emails, telling me he'd been collecting double play adventure games. Never really paid much attention to them, to be fair, but they do look quite cool, especially as they're all numbered. This is the original one, number 1. A combination of arcade and adventure games. Hidden City is an arcade game, and the Sealed City is an adventure game. Not really my cup of tea. But you always find that on World of Spectrum, you find a game name and then you realise it's not actually a game that came out on its own. So for example, Mastertronic has loads of games that came out with the Magnum light gun. 4 of them, I think, 3 or 4. Or you might find a game that came out on the B-side of another game. So you're looking for this stuff, thinking that they exist, and they don't. But World of Spectrum is quite good for that, so I think they started updating the games with the information of where you can find the games. So if you're looking through it and you're probably coming across something called Hidden City, the game probably doesn't exist as a standalone game. But yeah, I'm not sure, there's about 12 or 13 of these. These go for anything between sort of 5 and 10 quid. Again, not sure when they got released. Probably in the mid-80s. Not something I'm familiar with, to be fair, but yeah, I've got about 6 of them now. So yeah, I'll keep plodding away at those as long as they come up at a reasonable price. Now, speaking of numbered subsets, this one I've been after for ages. Now, this is the only part of the player's collection that I like to pick games up for. I've already got my Joe Blade games. I've already got Deviants, which is a game I played on Sinclair User, cover tape. And there's 1 or 2 others that I got as well, but this is the only one that's caught my eye. I know Scott Save the Zombie is going for a full set of these. But this game is a game that also got released under the Houston label called Ranarama. Also featured in Scott's video quite recently, his players collection. This one set me back about 12 quid at an auction. I missed out on it 1 or 2 times before in bundles. I didn't really want the entire bundle for just the 1 game, but I should have done that really. But yeah, really pleased to have it. So it completes that little set of 10 games. There's loads of games by Houston in that little set, including some of my favourite games like Firelord. I used to love Firelord. But yet Iridium got released under the Racket label. Eliminator, I think I played on the ST. It's kind of can't explain that game. It kind of looks in some ways like Trailblazer, but plays a bit like Space Area. But your ship don't move. So yeah, bit of a shoot 'em up really. Didn't explain that one very well, but yeah, really pleased to have that. So that finally finishes off that little set, which has been like that now for at least a year 18 months. So yeah, really pleased to have it. So it's nice when you kind of fill those little holes in, isn't it, really? Yeah. You know what I mean? Next up is a game that I saw on Sean Retro Games Revive channel. He's going for an alternative set. This game he had for the Commodore 64, which is very seldomly seen on the Sinclair Spectrum. But I picked this up from the same place I picked up Stormbringer from. Another alternative game. I think it leaves me with about 6 or so standalone alternative games. And that is The Secret Diary of Adrian Mole. Another alternative title I'm going to show you in a bit. But this is very difficult to find. Remember, the books, didn't read them. The TV program I watched, but I remember it being quite a whiny kid. And do you ever remember a program, maybe it's just me, maybe I just dreamt it, called The Boy Who Won the Pools? Do you remember that? I just remember him having loads of money. And I'm quite envious of that when I was small. There he is with his Porsche, not Porsche, I think it was a Ferrari he had or something like that. The Boy Who Won the Pools. Do you know, I should look it up. But yeah, Secret Dive Adrian Mole text adventure, boring. But as a collector's piece, it's one that don't come up very often. So yeah, £7 I thought was quite cheap for that. Right, what else we got? We got some big box stuff, mostly compilations. But the next one I'm going to show you is another Zeppelin title. Now this is the only Zeppelin Premier title you can buy. Comes up maybe once a year. I can see why. It's not a particularly good game, even though the TV show was very popular and still goes today. And that is Match of the Day. Lovely condition box. But yeah, I'm not really sure how to play it, I've got to say. The old Wembley on the front there. Is that Mark Lawrenson? Nah, it can't be. It's a bloody Man United player. Getting confused. I need new glasses. But yeah, it's nice to have this. I've been after this for ages. I missed out on it a couple of times. Because sometimes you don't expect games to go for what they go for. This bundle I think was around £30, including a couple of games I didn't keep. The one before I think I got outbid. I think it went for about 60 quid. But yeah, it's a game I guess based on Match of the Day. I got as far as putting icons into the diary, hoping something would happen, and nothing happened. That was the experience I had with Match of the Day. But yeah, lovely to have it. It's the only one like that. Like I said, I think Incognito had one game, which I think was Kenny Dalglish. 4 Impulse games, like Neighbours, Rally Game, and a couple of other children's programmes. And I think the bulk of the games then reside in the Zeppelin. Yeah, exactly like Bionic Ninja. Right, this is the only other full price game I'm going to show before the compilations. Now this one I think I overpaid for, came up. Don't often see this. I put an offer in. 40 quid. I don't know why I picked 40 quid. I have no idea. Maybe I saw it in an online store and I thought maybe that's the going rate for it. I don't know. So I put a £40 bid in. The next day another one came up with £40 as a starting bid. And I watched that one, it ended recently and didn't sell for 40 quid, so I think I overpaid for it. That's Dracula. A text adventure. Again, not my cup of tea. This game apparently features some gory graphics, hence you got the 15 certification. One of the earliest games to get a certification, I think. Maybe, did this come out before Friday the 13th? I don't know. Yeah, released by Computer Rentals Limited. Now they did games like Wolfman, Jack the Nipper, Frankenstein, I think. 1986, so I can imagine it came out roughly the same time as Friday the 13th, really. So maybe there was a little bit of a trend to get games to get the highest ratings on there. I don't know. But yes, that's Dracula. Again, not something I've ever played before, not something I'm probably ever going to play again, to be fair. Will I keep it? I don't know. Don't know. If I get the others, I might keep it. If I don't, then I might let it go. But I won't get 40 quid for it. Right, compilation time. Now these are all late compilations ranging from about a tenner to 70 quid. Yeah, 2 of these I've had before, 2 of these are upgrades, as in the 2 I've had before. First up is Mega Sports, in lovely condition. This was about 10 quid. Very late release on a US gold label, about 1992. Get some reflection off my head. There we go, look at that. Oh, bloody hell. You've got the Games Summer Edition, Games Winter Edition, Summer Games and Summer Games 2, and Winter Games. Now, sorry to say, but I've got a feeling these games play miles better on a Commodore 64 than they do on a Sinclair Spectrum. But yeah, nice to have it though, in this condition. Yeah, I sold my one, which was a bit beat up, but it went for about £1. But yeah, that's a tenner for that. And next up as well, this is another one I replaced. This is by Domark, a game again got released about 1992. Or a compilation consisting of Last Ninja 2, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Strider 2, never played that, and James Bond, The Spy Who Loved Me. It's superheroes, again in lovely condition. Got to do the old forehead again, there we go. Yeah, really good. The games are okay. Last Ninja 2 I like, Indiana Jones is alright, Strider 2 never played, James Bond's average. Again, the one I had a cassette missing, so it's nice to complete it. But Domark released a hell of a lot of late compilations, so it's nice to have that one. Next up, we have a couple of Kicks related items, like I mentioned earlier. Now, these are two compilations that came out quite late. One was in 92, the other one 89. So it probably came out the early part of the Kicks collection, to be fair. Some of these games are standalone, some of these games are not. So this is a compilation called Action Countdown. Tough to find. This was a 30 quid compilation, so it wasn't cheap. You don't see it very often. And Kicks has slightly more compilations than the Hit Squad. It has 7. 5 called, what are they called? Mega Mix, I think. And then you've got 2, this one and another one. Yeah, so games I never played. Colosseum, Titanic, Blackbeard, I think got released on their own, under the Kicks label. Stardust did as well. But some of these would have just got their original Toposoft releases. Rockin' Roller? Score 3020. Looks like 0, doesn't it? And a few other games I've never heard of before. Some of these might be familiar in the Hit Squad Spanish homebrew set. There's one there, I can just see that bird. Bloody hell, that one there I think, with my finger. Nice piece of art, that one. But yeah, never played them, so it's nice to have it because it is a bloody difficult one to find. I think I've seen it more on the Amstrad than I have, believe it or not, on the Spectrum and Commodore 64. The next one is a collection of games by a particular footballer. Not that he wrote them, but he features on them. Gary Lineker's Hot Shot, Gary Lineker's Superstar Soccer, and Gary Lineker's Super Skills. I had Hot Shot back in the day, a decent top-down footy game for its time. It wasn't as good as Micro Pro Soccer though, but it was okay. I played Superstar Soccer quite a bit. It's some kind of football management game. Again, not played it for years. Italy 1990, played that on the ST, quite an average top-down football game. So that and Hot Shot are quite similar, to be fair. And Gary Lineker's Super Skills, the only one I never played. But yeah, very tough compilation to find. Don't see it very often. Well, you can probably see why, because the games by the time this compilation came out were at least 2 years old. In some cases, some of them were 3 or 4 years old. But yeah, you don't get much in a box, and I am missing the European Championship wall chart, unfortunately. Yeah, that's it. So pleased to have that. So if I did pursue the Kicks collection, at least there's a couple of pain in the arse titles gone. But yeah, and then we've got the last one, which is part of the alternative range. Again, this is a compilation that you don't see very often. I have Postman Pat collection. Sounds a bit sad, doesn't it? I have the Postman Pat collection. I have Kids Pack Volume 1. Kids Pack Volume 2 is bloody hard to find on the Spectrum. I don't think I've ever seen it. The Ginormous collection that I'm missing. Again, finding that in nice condition is the challenge. It's quite cheap and cheerful, and I missed out on a lovely condition copy of it for just over £1. And this one, which is the Popeye collection. And this one set me back the cool 70 quid. The games themselves are relatively easy to get, apart from the last Popeye game, which is called WrestleMania? Wrestle Crazy. Not much in the box really, just 3 cassettes and a paper pamphlet. But yeah, the games themselves, like I said, I've never played. Popeye Wrestle Crazy is a wrestling game, but you're wrestling things from a different planet, so that's a bit odd. A lot of waggling to do. You kind of kick and waggle, that's pretty much all you do in the game, so it's quite disappointed by that game. Whereas the other 2 Popeye games I think are quite good. Quite graphically impressive by the look of that. Did the Popeye games get released by Piranha? Or was that something else, like Trapdoor? I can never remember, but yeah, pleased to have it. 1992 it came out. So yeah, very late release. Now, so yeah, the only really difficult one to find is Kids Pack 2. And besides that, it's just the 3 foremost games I still need, which again, that just don't come up very often, do they? That's it. That's it for now for the Spectrum. There's more Spectrum right in front of me. There's even more cassettes to show you. I will get that multi pickup one out, but I'm still waiting for 1 or 2 games to add to it before I make it. A couple of Atari games. In fact, it might just be 1 Atari game. But But yeah, I've got a PlayStation, Atari, Commodore, Amstrad, Speccy Amiga, ST. I'm sure I said Mega Drive. Got a Mega Drive game as well. But that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing. I'll see you guys again real soon. Take care and bye for now.